Hi, everybody. I'm Jules, and today is Wednesday, August 31st, 2022. I'm a bit frustrated. Well, actually, I'm actually really frustrated with the way that this Kylie Rodney, um, I don't know, we're going to call it an investigation or an aftermath, um, at, following discovery. I think clearly it has to be called an investigation, though I'm not law enforcement. But the things that have unfolded following the discovery of Kylie Rodney in her vehicle, we all knew on that day, um, we all recognized that there was something uh, serious that was unfolding. Everybody recognized that. We all watched Sammy um, in her multiple interviews across various YouTube channels, streams. We all saw the behavior. We all felt uncomfortable. We all used our common sense, the fact that we were being asked to believe that you have a party of 200 to 300 young people in a period of history where it's actually not uncommon for people to wake up in the morning and start live streaming and, you know, having their live stream going as they're driving down the road, going to the dollar store, um, cooking in the kitchen, hanging out with family, people that have monetized, have dreams of grandeur, have hopes of making a career on social media. They're they welcome the world into their private lives. It's not uncommon. That's in the most extreme, right? But in the simplest form, the most basic form, we've all become historians. We've all become these documentarians of the silly and mundane. I mean, it used to be that you would take photographs at Christmas, right? Your grandma would gather all the family members together and, we got to have pictures before you leave. And then at some point, then it got to be, I want to get the perfect picture. Maybe they'll use it in the newspaper. Maybe the media will contact me and want to use my video clip. And now I couldn't walk past a bug today, literally, without stopping to take a photograph. It was beautiful. It was weird and creepy. And it had taken up residence on the door frame going into my house. And it was just become so commonplace to see things and things you would have previously committed to memory. Now we stop and we document, It's strange. But it's real. It's a part of walking around with these mini computers in our hands with, some of the highest quality photographic imaging available. Why do you think people put so much time into the development of that technology? Because people document now everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. We document everything. Now, for people between the ages of 15 to 25, they're in a developmental period in their lives where they are living out the personal fable. They believe that they're on a stage and all the world is looking at them. They're the most interesting, profound people that they know, right at the center of their story. So you're going to tell us, the old folks, the people that have been around the block, you're going to tell us that 200-300 of these young people, all legends in their own minds, with their state-of-the-art cameras in their telephones, none of them wanted to memorialize their big senior party. None of them wanted to memorialize the last big Yahoo throwdown before it was time to go to college. Of course they did. That's just silly. You're foolish. Whoever you are out there, whomever you are that is engineering this absurd public narrative that you have going on, you're short-sighted. You're shallow in thought. In fact, you're a bit childish in your belief that you can put out whatever kind of limited, foolish narrative and people are just going to just lap it up. Oh, yeah, that's plausible. Hell yeah, we totally believe that. Those kids went out there partying, just dancing the night away. It was a time of great celebration. The beginning of their adult lives, going off to college or getting a full-time job, whatever. And no one memorialized it. The other ludicrous and absurd thing that we were asked to believe is that Kylie just disappeared. That Sammy was so loving and such a great friend to Kylie that she said, "Oh, Kylie's drunk. I know about drunk driving. I'm not going to ride with her. I'm going to find a different drive home. Oh, well, I left her there because I thought, she was just going to camp there." Well, when she supposedly called you at 12:36 and said, "Hey, girl, I'm getting ready to leave. Did you find a ride?" And you said, "Yeah, love you so much, girl. Bye-bye." What if that phone call really happened, Sammy? If it was actually a phone call that occurred, are we sure that those are the words that you said? Are you sure that the words were, "Hey, girl, did you find a ride?" And you said, "Yeah, I sure did. Have a great night. Get home safe. Love you. Bye." Are we sure that's what was said? Or were you the first person that Kylie called when she couldn't get out of the car? That you're the one that left her there, knowing how bad and intoxicated she was. But then again, even that horrific nightmare of a storyline, wild speculation, even that doesn't exactly fit what we now know is fact. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's this little problem detail. Why was Kylie in the back of the car? Not the back seat, the back of the car. Not only was the driver's side backseat window down, so was the passenger side. Now, we have another thing that we've been asked to believe with no question. Prosser Lake, the area literally just hundreds of feet from where the party was, literally, it's been searched. 19,000 man hours of searching. Right, Captain Brown? Man, we searched it. We searched it high and low. We had divers. We had helicopters. We had ROVs. We even had swimmers paddling around on the surface to look down into the water. We had sonar. We had side sonar. You also had a professional diver with 10 completely charged tanks offer his services. This was a professional diver certified in open water rescue. And you didn't want him to help either, did you? Why? Why did you guys not want anybody to help? Oh, we searched. We searched high and low. Well, if you listen carefully in that August 22nd press conference, you're going to hear a bit of mumbling from Captain Sam Brown. The question is along the lines of, did you have divers? Were there divers? Oh, yeah, hell yeah, we had divers. Uh-huh. But here's what he mumbles. We even had divers out there. I'm not real sure if we had any in Prosser, but we had divers. Yeah, definitely. You're not sure if you had any in the Prosser Reservoir? 55 feet from the party? You're not sure if you had divers? Within 30 feet of the last known ping of her phone. You're not sure if you put divers into a place where her phone pinged and there was more water in the area of confidence than not. And you didn't put divers in the water there, but you put divers in the water in the Donner Reservoir. Really? Why were you searching everywhere except where the car pinged or the phone pinged? Why would you do that? We watched this video today was supposed to go dramatically different than what it is right now. The video today was supposed to be I watched Suspicious Minds, the YouTube channel. She has a different take of that infamous press conference. She looked at the FBI agent as frustrated with local law enforcement, that his reactions were to be viewed more of that law enforcement, the California Highway Patrol, Placer and Nevada County Sheriff's Departments, that their reactions were, he was reacting as if they were making mistakes, that they were saying things that were foolish, insensitive. The press said a few things that were insensitive to the family. And so she had a much different view of the press conference than the video I put out. And I thought, well, this is interesting. That's what I want to do. I want to make my next live. I'm going to rewatch the press conference, and I'm going to try to watch it through the eyes of Suspicious Minds. I'm going to challenge myself to see something different than what I'm actually looking at, or what I previously saw, right? But then I began to read SF Investigates. I began seeing the social media post by the off the grid life mother of Kylie Rodney. She and her family They don't even have cell phones at their house. You can't even call them. They're not embracing 2022. They are quite bohemian, um, living an authentic, natural life. They're rejecting all of this other stuff that, clearly you and I have embraced. What makes us think that they're going to be these avid social media users? What makes you think that Kylie Rodney's mother is jumping on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and leaving messages? No, she's grieving. She's already living a life of ultimate privacy. She has rejected the social media world just in her day-to-day life, just the nature of their lifestyle. So where are these shady, uh, aggressive, judgmental posts? Where are they coming from? Where are they originating from? So as I ran across all of this bizarre, these bizarre messages and comments, um, based on social media, I'm absolutely horrified. Now, I'm looking at SF Investigates, who, interestingly enough, he he took off all of his Kylie, um, Rodney information. I think the first thing I saw, um, hold on just a minute. Let me make sure what I'm saying is right. Yeah. The first thing that I saw with this whole SF Investigates was his, August 30th post. I just got off a long call with David, Kylie Rodney's grandfather. I'm not here to judge. And then he's calling Ryan Upchurch out. The next thing is, SF Investigates, August 30th. The waitress read it on social media. This was the information about AWP, informing the family first that they had located Kylie, and then law enforcement. Now, SF Investigates has been leading the pack on the attempt to mislead. In my opinion, this is a concerted effort to mislead and throw shade at AWP. Now, he's got on August 30th, that waitress read it on social media. I was informed by DX the Mystery, who read it on AWP social media, and then I was forced to tell the father and grandfather. Those are the facts. Jennifer forced those to be disclosed. Blame her, AWP. We were going to be quiet about it. So I'm reading this and I'm thinking, what? This is really crazy. I mean, people are like, well, you didn't feel that Kylie's mom's statements about AWP was no hero. You didn't find that to be disturbing and upsetting. I'm going to tell you, first of all, I don't think it's authentic. And second of all, she's a grieving mom. She's angry. If you've never lost somebody close to you, you cannot fully appreciate the level of anger that can come even in a natural death. Even someone who dies, let's say, of cancer or a car accident, anger is not anger, but grief is it's an assault on your uh, entire body. The disruption to neurotransmitters and um, hormones, your body goes into a state of shock, and it's the result of the uh, profound disruption of chemicals in your brain and your body. It is that profound disruption of levels of proper levels of chemical that result in PTSD and other types of trauma reactions. And it takes the body a while to balance and get back to health. So even if the posts were from her, I'm still not going to be disturbed and upset and worried about it. She's a mother in grief. Anger is a huge part of grief and trauma. And sometimes you don't know where to point your anger. When you lose somebody that's so dear and your grief is so profound, you're just looking for somewhere to direct it. You're just looking for some way to express the anger and get it out. So AWP knows that. They're not they don't have they were not expecting the mother and father of Kylie Rodney to roll out the red carpet and throw them a party. They were not expecting that, not, and nor were they wishing or hoping for that. It's just absurd. But I'm going to go even further and reiterate. I would not be surprised to find out that was not even her that posted that stuff. And the reason I wouldn't be surprised if it was not her is because they have chosen a lifestyle where they are not on the grid. They've chosen a lifestyle that inherently rejects all of the social media stuff. And so if that's the case, then you have to ask yourself, well, who in the world would be putting out that type of information? Because as you go in and begin reading, like this bozo SF investigates. Oh, the waitress read it on social media. This was the announcement that they had located Kylie. The waitress read it on social media. I was informed by DX the Mystery, who read it on AWP's social media. As if AWP found her and said, "Oh, let's post it." This SF investigates this guy. This is where it is originating, in my opinion. Oh, we read AWP posted on their social media, and then SF investigates. I was forced to tell the father and grandfather. I was forced. Blame AWP. Blame Jennifer. We were going to be quiet about it. SF Investigates post. Since Coffindaffer is suggesting that I am a fraud and was not the one put in a horrible position to notify Kylie's father and grandfather and is now accusing me, I will tell the actual truth. AWP never notified either parent. Her mother, meaning Kylie's mother learned from a waitress at a sushi restaurant. This is the BS that SF Investigates is putting out. Bizarre. There's there is a letter by David and Cassandra Robertson, which is Kylie's grandfather and grandmother. He wrote a letter to Sheriff Moon, Shannon Moon, said, "Dear Sheriff Moon, over the last 17 days, we have been filled with uncertainty, grief, and fear. Locating our granddaughter on Monday has brought us an element of resolution. While not the conclusion we had hoped for, this agony has been brought to an end." And it was brought to an end by adventures with purpose. Try to remember that, SF Investigates. The grandfather goes on to write, "Yes, we are saddened, but we now know where our dear Kylie rests. It took an army of individuals to find her, from backcountry hikers to the FBI, divers, the tow truck operator." We'll get to that in a minute. The tow truck operator, print shops, sheriffs, plural, police, Homeland Security, and ultimately the Adventures with Purpose team who found her. Collectively, we all made it happen. Everyone volunteered their skills, stood up for Kylie, and hit the pavement running. In the end, we found her, and that is what is important. Right? SF Investigates. That's what's important, right? She was found. So you don't have a family who spends the next 30 years wondering and searching in every face, every car they pass, reading every obituary that comes up, any Jane Doe that pops up anywhere across the world, thinking, is that her? No, this family got some peace from knowing. Now, they're in grief. They're horrified. They're dealing with something that, God forbid, you and I will never have to ever worry about. So why is SF Investigates so busy throwing shade at AWP? Why? The letter goes on to say, there will always be an armchair warrior contributing an unproductive display of criticism, ridicule, and blame. The Nevada and Placer County Sheriff's Departments gave it their all. For those who point fingers and don't believe in our law enforcement, if you ever find yourself in deep trouble, simply dial 911. Law enforcement will be at your door within minutes to hold you up during your darkest hour. We are forever indebted to you. Kindly, David and Cassandra Robertson. Now, for some reason, SF goes ahead and puts this up on his YouTube, his Twitter account. He says, SF Investigates wrote 22 hours ago, "This is how you know you're doing good things for families. When the haters spend all day creating burner accounts about you, that's validation you are doing your job well." What? SF Investigates? What are you talking about? You have said things that are patently false about AWP. He makes a comment 16 hours ago. There better be one hell of an apology from, I'm not going to say who. Remember how he said the family was informed and said that I was clout chasing? Well, the truth is here. Yeah, the truth is here, SF Investigates. And it appears that you weren't paying attention when you came up with this, what appears to be fraud, because they had cameras rolling. 12 hours ago, SF Investigates said, and I quote, "Evil exists. Today, I witnessed an attack on a grieving mother that resulted in her having to remove the community invitation to her 16-year-old daughter's memorial service." Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't know what that's about. I have zero idea what he's talking about. I don't know. This is something I don't know what it means. Then he goes on to name 4 people, and he says, "You are everything that is wrong with this world. You only seek to hurt and to harm." There's an excerpt from SF, and he says, "Believe what you want. If you think I have ever lied to you, then believe JP, who has proven to be a hateful bully that refers to relatives of the missing as ugly words, who makes families stop using missing person posters because he thinks dropping some text and images into a template makes him an artist." What? What? There was a 16-year-old girl missing, seemingly vanished into thin air. Why are you yelling at the entire world about someone that you didn't like, that they wanted to change the missing posters? Why is that something you would even concern yourself with? SF investigates. Then it goes on to say he uses the word investigator in his profile, but has to call a sheriff's department in the middle of a crisis to see if Sammy, who he was stalking, is 18 or 24. JP and AWP can spin the family notification any way they want. No spin happened. No spin happened. The notification process did not happen like AWP has claimed in multiple interviews. I'm sorry, but it was all recorded. It was all videotaped, whomever you are. Kylie deserved better than that. She was more than a Facebook Live. I'm wondering if is this something that Sammy put out? It seems childish. She was more than a Facebook Live. Family members were not contacted. Law enforcement said during the press conference they were not notified either. They learned about Kylie being found on social media. If you are the type that wants to further hurt a grieving family, then being here on Twitter with the bottom feeders mentioned above is home sweet home. I know the other 99% of you are caring, thoughtful people. This place is toxic, and I am embarrassed to be a part of it with those people trying to pretend they are in the community. I don't plan to come back unless it's a case that, for whatever reason, absolutely requires Twitter exposure. Otherwise, I'll stick to Discord. Like Discord is any better? Discord is like the wild, wild west compared to YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. Please don't become like those I have mentioned. They are what is wrong with the world today. Is this the most bizarre thing that you could ever hear? It's just all right. And I think he's removed everything else that is related to the case. Now, you may be asking yourself, "Ooh, so what got under your skin and got you all fired up, blood boiling and angry?" Well, I will tell you what. I have calmly and with some smiles and some jokes, I have pointed out that I was upset with some of the reactions that I saw in the press conference on the 22nd. I rationally pointed out what the things that I saw that seemed to be very unusual, and I did not engage in wild speculation. I simply pointed and said, "This looks very curious. I don't know what it means, but it's something out of the ordinary, and it deserves some attention." I was very responsible in not trying to speculate or give meaning to something I couldn't possibly know the meaning of. I said at the same time that, in my opinion, AWP is not going to put their professional reputation in a position to be destroyed, because they have developed a business that is very unique, one of a kind, and it's all built on their level of trustworthiness. If their professional reputation is damaged, so too are the people willing to contribute and pay money to make it possible for them to go and do these searches. So they recognize these are intelligent people that have built up this organization, and they're going to be above reproach. They're going to make sure that anything they do, there is a camera rolling, because that safeguards them, and it safeguards the families, and it safeguards law enforcement. They're not going to be accused of any funny business behind the scenes. And the best way to be able to stand firmly in your own truth as criminals are trying to muddy the water, the best way to stand firm in your own truth is to have visual backup. Would you agree? A camera that is recording is a one-way ticket to safety for you and the others that are involved. They know this. They don't believe that they're just running around getting cars that accidentally ended up in water. They recognize that a great percentage of the cars that they recover were there as a result of foul play. Cars don't typically drive off into the water. So these guys have military training, highly specialized training. No, they're not going to engage in goofy, silly social media games. They're not going to do that. They want to make a living using their specialized skill set. They're not trying to get famous. They have an idealized military style of skill that is invaluable in a theater of war. But they're not in a theater of war here in the United States. They're home. They're away from the need for that type of skill set. And they figured out a way to use what they love, what they're expert in, how to use it to help other people, how to use it to help law enforcement, how to use it in cold cases, how to use it just for, some aging mother who hadn't seen her child in 20 years. That's why they're doing this. They want their reputation to be spotless, because they recognize you and I make it possible for them to make a living with the skills that they are expert with. We make it possible because we trust them. And because we trust them, we give them donations, we join their channel, we give them views in minutes by watching their videos. All of that is built on trust. All of that is built on, these are guys that got high-level military training, Navy SEALs type stuff, and now they're no longer needed in a theater of war, and they don't want to become a car salesman, and nor should they. The skill set that they have is special. It's special. It needs to be used for the greater society, which is what they're doing. And they're doing it we make it possible for them to do it by being a member of their channel, making donations, purchasing their merchandise. That way, they have an income, they have the skill set, and they can go to whichever family needs help and not charge the families money, not ask the police or the sheriff for money. We are making that possible for them to use their skill set to help others, not grieving families. The grieving families are not the ones that are being asked to pay for it. They know this. They're not going to make a foolish, stupid mistake, something as critical as, oh, put it on social media that we found Kylie, and just completely ignore the family. That's going to be a little hard to do, seeing as how the family were, watching. In fact, Nick and Doug, the two men that were in the kayaks that actually discovered her, they wouldn't even look up. Like, they were keeping their head down and saying to each other, okay, there's people out here. I don't want anybody to know what we found. Just keep your head down. I don't want to arouse anybody's, concern. I don't want anybody talking about this. They messaged for their team to turn their phones off so there was no mistakes. You see, SF investigates. Whomever it is that you're working for, who really hired you? Who are you really working for? I have an idea. You were foolish. You showed just how bad of an investigator you are. If you believe that this group would go out there and locate this young woman and not have documented every single step they took, you're foolish. You're foolish if you believe that this comes down to a war of words. You are foolish. These men are the real deal. These are not a couple of guys, sitting around bored with being accountants and decided, hey, I got a good idea. Why don't we buy a couple of, fish locators, a couple of paddles and canoes, and let's just go out there and paddle around, and we might just get lucky, but if we make some real cool videos, people will give us money. You've got the wrong group of guys, if that's what you think they are. Now, the real question, there's no doubt that there is an organized disinformation campaign in full swing. Are we in agreement? If you believe that I'm right, that there is a disinformation campaign in swing, put a 1. If you know that there are people out there intentionally putting out hogwash in an effort to disrupt reality and facts, put a 1. Okay. Yeah, I said the other day in the with the press conference, the very minute that Captain Sam Brown called AWP liars, specifically called Doug a liar, at that very moment, I said, Houston, we have a problem. This is a dog that don't hunt. You know what I mean? There's something critically wrong going on right here. Then I started running across these bizarre posts from Kylie's mother. And then I started paying attention to SF Investigates. And now we're just in La La Land. Now we're just looking at it. My head was spinning. I was thinking, wow, this is crazy. Like, what's wrong with these people? Why is SF investigators attacking AWP? Why is her mother so angry and upset? By the way, SF Investigates has her ear. So who's really upsetting Kylie's mother? AWP or SF Investigates? Now, across the bottom of the video, the screen that you're looking at, that is the link to Adventures with Purpose. And yesterday, Adventures with Purpose dropped a video, and it's titled How We Found Kylie Rodney, Murder or Accident. And I thought, when I saw that, I thought, ooh, I wonder if this is going to be a little clickbaity. I wonder, because I've been reading SF Investigates. I read these posts by Kylie's mother. I was in full confusion about how the earth had tilted on its axis. What is going on here? And so when I saw that, and I saw How We Found Kylie Rodney, Murder or Accident, I thought, wow, that is so bombastic in terms of what I actually already know about AWP. That's not their norm. And I thought, wow, is this like clickbait? Like, what's happening here? So I watched the video. There's nothing clickbaity about it, peeps. Nothing clickbait about it. Hi, Aunt Sally. Now, I'm with you, good grandma. AWP isn't going to say it if they don't mean it. And they're certainly not going to be foolish enough to assert something that they don't have proof of. It's good to see you, Aunt Sally. Welcome. Now, you will have to join AWP to watch the video. That's one of the reasons that I said, is this some clickbait? Like, why are they putting it behind their paid screen? Oh, I know why they're putting it behind the paid screen. Trust me, it's worth it. Currently, you can get the first month and it's half price. I don't know why. Maybe that's an option. They can say offer the first month of membership at 50% off. I don't really know how that came to be, but you can right now go and join. It's $2, I think, $2.50 for the first month, and watch the actual video that they took of when they thought they saw something in the water, the process they went through trying to determine if it was really something they were seeing. We're talking about Kylie Rodney and the misinformation that is now in swing. So you can go to AWP. They have it behind a paywall. This is not customary for them, but when you watch the video, you'll understand why they have it behind the paywall. It is if you have been exposed to this hogwash by SF Investigates. If you are one of those people that's really done a deep dive into the disappearance of Kylie Rodney, and now you're feeling completely confused and turned upside down about whether or not you can believe AWP or you can believe SF Investigates and the very supposed post by family members of Kylie. And again, I'm not willing to accept that it's really her family. I'm not willing to accept that. If it is, then my apologies. Certainly, her family has any uh, any right or not right. It's expected. They can say what they can experience their grief in whatever way they need to. It's not our business. But if SF Investigates is feeding to the family of Kylie the same BS that he's feeding to social media, no wonder her mother is so angry and upset with AWP. No wonder. So if you are like me and you got so confused and turned upside down by all of this, do yourself a favor. Go ahead and get 1 month membership. You don't even have to keep the full membership, if you don't want to. But to see the one video, to see that one video, you will have no further confusion related to the integrity of AWP. The integrity, your ability to trust AWP will be fully restored. And I'm going to play the tiniest little clip from this video because I want you to see this is the actual footage. It's the actual footage. And the truth is there. So SF Investigates, I don't know who you are. I don't know who hired you. I don't know who you're working for, but you're full of it. You are full of it. And for some reason, you're putting out information that is blatantly false.
That's what we do it for, brother.
That's what I thought. Let me.
Good job. Good job. It's positive, All right.
Okay. Does this look like a man having a reaction that's trying to get famous? Does this reaction look like a man who's worried about who's going to announce it on social media first? No. This is a man who had a very difficult experience. He recognizes the gravity of the situation. He has just gone down, verified that it's Kylie's car, and come up, and he is overwhelmed by emotion. As you continue to watch this, you then will see Doug, who immediately, well, I'm not going to tell you what you've got to, you need to go watch it so you can fully appreciate how they handled this. But it's here. I have no doubt they put this out because of all of the foolishness that was surrounding SF Investigates and the crap that he's putting out. This is truth right here, people. They did right. They 100% did right. Every one of us should go over there and sign up for that channel. Every one of us. Don't let the disinformation crap affect AWP's ability to go help other families in the same way that they help Kylie Rodney's family. And you can't, don't fall into that trap of whether you think, this is another video that I've been working on. Sorry about that. Don't get all caught up in whether Kylie's mom should or shouldn't say the things that were said. Don't no. No. That's not my job to pass judgment on her or her family. It's not your job to pass judgment on Kylie Rodney's family and how they grieve and experience the onslaught of the trauma that they're dealing with. It's not that's none of our business. If she needs to rage and scream and yell and burn it all down, then so be it. But here's where you draw the line. You draw the line with a private investigator who comes in and begins just throwing BS all around. All around. That's where you draw the line. SF is full of it. These accusations, the crap they're throwing towards AWP, they're full of it. I don't know where it's originating. I've got my suspicions. But here's what we know. And if you'll go and watch this video, they tell you the condition of that car. They show you video of the condition of that car before they ever touched the car, before they ever did anything. We saw the back window rolled halfway down. We saw it as they pulled the car out, right? Past the driver's side. Well, the passenger side window was down. And the driver's side window was broken out as it lay there. The seat, the driver's seat, is laid back. And Kylie is in the very back. Someone, no. Had all the windows been rolled up, there would have been buoyancy for a greater period of time. The car would have floated for a period of time. There is cell phone service there where the car went down. It's where her phone pinged. What would be the purpose of rolling the windows down? Did someone have help? Did someone have help? Daddy, I have a problem. Daddy, I made a mistake. Daddy, we need help. I don't know that that's what happened. But when you look at all the foolishness coming out of the core group around Placer County, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. And I'm going to say it again. Said it before, I'm going to say it again. It doesn't matter how Kylie Rodney's family grieves. Doesn't matter what they say. Doesn't matter. It's not our job to judge them. We have no idea the level of grief, the experience. We don't know. And it's not our job to say whether it's okay or not. But that private investigator, SF Investigates, he came on the scene like gangbusters and began putting crap out on the internet. And everybody took it hook, line, and sinker. You didn't question him. You didn't question him. Oh, he's working for the family. He's working for the family. He's the one saying that AWP did not talk to the parents. that he didn't contact them, he didn't tell them, he didn't talk to them. SF Investigates said that. Oh, I was the one that told the father and grandfather. Me, I did. Sorry, whoever you are, SF Investigates, but somebody had a camera rolling. I hope you guys will go over to AWP. Go ahead and watch the video. It is not clickbait. Okay? And if I sound frustrated, if I sound irritated and angry, I am. This is a young woman who had such a great future ahead of her, so much potential, so intelligent, so musical, just such a horrible loss. Such a horrible loss. And you've got the kids with all their crap, the interviews that were like a clown show, this investigator intentionally putting out misinformation. It's a hornet's nest. I'll tell you this, I got the same exact feeling when I was trying to learn about Shanann Ruchek, and I ran across the information about the nuts, the experience that Shanann had when she went to Cindy Watts' house, the way it all unfolded, and I got this frightened feeling in the pit of my stomach. And you know what I thought? Just clear as day, Shanann did not have a chance. She was surrounded by the enemy. Chris Watts was empowered to do what he did, in my opinion. I have the same sense of fear surrounding what happened with Kylie Rodney. Not with family. I'm not talking about her family, not a bit. There is, I believe, a group of people that worked and orchestrated the cover-up of something awful. I believe it in my heart. I believe it in my heart. It's not one person. It's not one person that did this. I still believe it was an accident. I still believe it wasn't an intended death. But then once she did die, that someone could have called a parent to help them cover it up. I can't think of any other explanation for how you stop 200 or 300 kids from talking. And don't forget, we have sheriff's department deputies bald-faced lying about AWP. So weirdest group of facts since the Chris Watts case. Promise you. It's weird. And at the heart of it is a young woman who never deserved any of this. She deserves authenticity. Whoever covered this up should be exposed. 100% they should be exposed. And whomever hired SF Investigates should also be exposed, because SF Investigates has put on a clown show on social media. That is the person I am most angry with, is SF Investigates. All right, I'm done. Rant over. I apologize, but I'm indignant. It's terrible what they're doing with this Kylie Rodney case. All right, please, you will feel better if you watch the AWP video, because you will have truth. Truth always helps you feel better. Always. Right, Truth Seeker? Right? Truth is everything in terms of accepting reality. There's video. They have video. Go watch it. You'll feel better. You will. Okay. I'm done. I'll talk to you later on.